Chapter 10, Learning How to Learn. Earth Person. I've been reading some books on how to get rich. Are they working? What do you mean? Are you getting rich from reading these books? Of course not. I'm not getting rich myself. I'm reading about how to get rich. Oh, when are you going to stop reading about it and start doing it? What do you mean by that? You said before that you wanted to get rich. Did you decide to get rich, or did you decide just to read about getting rich? Well, before I can get rich, I have to learn how. Do you think you can learn by reading? Naturally, that's why I'm doing it. Very few people have ever gotten rich from reading books. What are you talking about? There are dozens of books out, and all of the guys who wrote them got rich. And how many of the people reading these books have gotten rich? I don't know. Millions? No, I doubt it. Hundreds of thousands? I doubt that too. Do you think there are tens of thousands? Probably not, I guess. Maybe hundreds? And do you know anyone who's gotten rich from reading books? No, I don't. Then why are you reading books? I thought I was reading them to learn how to get rich. Now, I'm not so sure. I heard you saying it won't do me any good. What made you think you could get rich from reading books? I don't know. I have to learn somehow. Yes, but why turn to reading? I guess because it's the only way I know how to learn. I don't know any other way. Do you think most rich people learn to get rich from reading books? Now that you mention it, probably not. But how did they learn? From experience. What do you mean? The best way to learn is from experience. But that's why I got the books, to find out about the experience of people who've already gotten rich. They're the ones who experienced getting rich. What you're experiencing is reading about it. The two experiences are different. How are they different? Your experience will enable you to become a good source of information about how other people got rich. However, their experience enabled them to get rich. But how can I learn what they've done if I don't read about it? You don't need to know what they've done. You only need to know the process they used, and you already know that. I already know the process? Sure. Don't you remember? It involves deciding what you want to do and then making sure that what you're presently doing isn't preventing you from doing what you want. But why do all these people write books on how to get rich if no one really needs to know what they've done? They believe they can share their experience through words, but they can't. Words only communicate information, and you don't need any more information. You need to focus on yourself. I remember you said the same thing a while back, that I don't need any more information. You said that what I needed instead of more information was to learn more about what I feel. Yes, feelings are something you experience. Information is something you process in your head. It's not an experience at all. There's a big difference. But how will knowing what I feel help me get rich? It will help you identify how you're preventing yourself from getting rich. Damn, you said that before too. I still don't understand. If you feel bad, you can't concentrate on getting rich. You're too distracted. You can't find the natural child energy you need. However, if you know you feel bad, you can do something about it. If the part of you feeling bad is your natural child responding spontaneously to your immediate environment, you can change that environment. You can make yourself more comfortable where you are or move to better surroundings. If the part of you feeling bad is your adapted child, you can turn off the tape and feel good. I think I'm finally catching on. If my immediate physical environment is comfortable, I have no need to feel bad. Therefore, if I'm still not feeling good, I'll know this feeling is in my adapted child, and then it has to do with something from my past. I'll also know that my parent is probably saying something to me to trigger the feeling, and that's the first thing to work on before doing anything else about getting rich. That's it. Well, it sort of makes sense to me, but it seems awfully roundabout. That's the only way it works. What about the actual experience of getting rich as opposed to the experience of reading about it? How do I get that? And what do I feel as I'm experiencing it? How do you want to get rich? What do you mean? You can get rich any way you want. Which way would you like to choose? I can get rich any way I want? Yes. What are you feeling right now? I'm confused. Confused is not a feeling. Confusion is a way of hiding from what is real. Huh? I'm hiding from what's real? Yes. What's the reality that I'm hiding from? That you can get rich any way you want. Oh, but I don't know how to get rich. That's your adapted child speaking. No, it's not. It's my adult. There may be an adult component to your statement, but what I heard was your adapted child. What makes you say that? I heard it. But in addition, it's a stock adapted child response. Little children are always saying, I don't know, and I don't know how when big people ask them things. They're afraid of being punished. You've been programmed to say that for years. How are you preventing yourself from deciding how you want to get rich? What do you mean preventing myself? You know. Wait, just a minute now. You're taking a lot for granted. You're really beginning to push me. It's a favor. What? Pushing me is a favor? Yes. It's like the gift I gave you earlier. I don't have to push you. Consider it a gift. Huh, Oh, what did you ask of me? What you're doing to prevent yourself from deciding how you want to get rich. I really can't say I know. What are you feeling right now? I'm confused again. Hiding from something, I guess. How does it serve you to stay confused? How does it serve me? Yes. What are you getting out of staying confused that makes you do it so automatically? Well, I guess one thing is I don't have to acknowledge your statement is correct. I don't have to believe it. And if I stay confused, I can avoid being clear enough to know what you're saying is true. And why do you want to do that? Because if I acknowledged it was true, it would be very scary. You'd scare yourself? Yes. What's that about? And it means I'd have to look at a lot of things around me, things I've used to justify staying poor, and I'd have to do something about them. I can't acknowledge your statement and still keep things the same in my life. That awareness is worth holding on to. Stay with it for a moment. That's what you're doing to prevent yourself from deciding to get rich. I see what you mean. I'm trying to hold on to my past. I don't want to give it up. I don't want to go into the future. You don't want to change and go into the future. You'd prefer to get rich without doing anything differently and without seeing any more clearly than you do right now. You'd prefer to go in the future that way, but you can't and still get rich. It's impossible. Your present level of awareness and your present way of doing things have led you to the mess you're in. If you continue with them, you'll remain poor and unhappy. Do all people who get rich experience this pull between past and future, between confusion and clarity? Yes, it's called fear. How do they get rid of it? There are two ways to get rid of it. You can stop wanting to get rich or wanting to change anything else in your life, and you'll no longer push yourself to the point of fear. The fear itself will disappear. Or you can examine how you scare yourself and decide to stop doing it. And people who get rich choose the second way. They decide they want to get rich and then examine how they prevent themselves from doing so. One of the first things they discover is they've been scaring themselves, then they stop it. How do I scare myself? You tell me. Well, I keep thinking my past is more important to me than my future. I keep thinking I'll lose everything I have, all my money, all my friends, my skills, and everything else of value to me. I keep thinking everyone will desert me and I won't have any way to cope. How does it serve you to keep thinking these thoughts? It delays my moment of clarity. Wow, that's an important insight. I scare myself in order to delay my moment of clarity. And by delaying my moment of clarity, I continue to scare myself. It's a vicious cycle. Very good. You're getting clear again. But why would I do that? You tell me. Hmm. Well, I guess that's how I keep this fear circulating around myself. That's how I sustain the feeling. Good. Now, do you want to continue doing it? No, damn it. I certainly don't. Then tell me how you'd like to get rich. Okay. I'd like to get rich by doing something I won't have to work hard at. I'd like to find a way to get rich and still have a lot of free time. I'd also like to travel a lot. Good. Anything else? This sounds crazy. That's your parent interfering with our conversation. I'm not talking to your parent. Now, please tell me more about how you'd like to get rich. Well, I'd like to be able to make my own hours and not have to do anything I don't want to do. And I'd like it to be fun. So far, you've told me in several different ways you don't want to have your parent involved, and you want to do it from your natural child. Huh? Oh, that's really interesting. I did say that, didn't I? How could you arrange to get rich without having your parent involved? I could just get rid of my parent. If I turn off all the tapes I don't like, my parent wouldn't tell me I have to do anything. I could decide for myself what I wanted to do. Fine. Now, how can your natural child come up with some ways for you to get rich? I guess it just has to start looking for things that might be fun. Okay. Do you think you can do that? Yes, I sure can. It sounds exciting. Are you scaring yourself now? No, I'm not. How did you stop scaring yourself? I started thinking about having fun and getting rich at the same time. Now you've started to learn. This way is much more useful than looking for information in books. Comments. Few people are lucky enough to actually learn how to learn. For most of us, learning is a hit or miss process with little or no logic behind it. We're taught that it involves collecting facts or acquiring specific skills for specific tasks. But once we've obtained those facts and skills, we often find something missing. Our really important learning occurs outside the formal process we've been taught. Our most crucial lessons come through experiencing something rather than being told about it. Real learning occurs when we're assimilating and using the facts and skills we've learned, not when we're merely learning about them. But our lessons in growing up rarely mention this. In fact, we're usually encouraged not to experience things on our own. We're told not to experiment, not to try things out, and not to look foolish. If we're not physically restrained, we're either punished forcefully enough or made to feel embarrassed enough to discourage us from continuing any further. There's only one way you can learn to experience becoming rich and happy, and that's to just start experiencing it. It takes action on your part. If you haven't started taking such action already, you need to seriously consider making some new decisions on how you plan to learn. You can't learn to get rich or become happy by reading this or any other book. If you haven't started yet, here are some questions to ask yourself. A, how do I plan to learn to become rich and happy? By collecting facts, by learning from experience, or both? B, what method of learning am I presently using as reflected by my present actions? C, what could I do now that I'm not already doing to help myself learn from experience? Learning from experience involves knowing what you want, assessing the implications of your future actions to obtain what you want, weighing the possible consequences, and once you've prepared yourself as best you can, simply taking the plunge. If it works, it works. And if it doesn't work, you can learn from it. That's what learning from experience is all about. One possible consequence of your future actions, usually the scariest, is you might lose something you don't want to give up. Family, friends, possessions, security, or self-esteem. While there's no way to totally protect yourself from this possibility, you can prepare yourself for it by being willing to risk giving up everything you have. Being willing to give up something doesn't mean you'll necessarily lose it. It only means you'll be prepared to lose it if you have to. There may be times when you feel you have everything at risk and that only a fool would prepare himself to lose it willingly. Yet, unless your life itself is at stake, you'll rarely be risking something you can't replace. You can always regain your self-esteem. You'll always have time ahead of you, time to make more money, time to remarry, and time to get another job. The only thing you won't be able to replace is your past. You won't be able to do it all again in exactly the same way you did before. Learning to give up your past is one of the most difficult tasks you'll be faced with. The key decision in deciding to learn from experience is to decide to act on the basis of what you want. You can't get experience if you don't take action. And the clearest way to take action is to do what you want. In making your decisions, you might want to ask yourself, A, what is there in my present life that I want, that I'm willing to act on to obtain? B, what is there I don't want anymore, that I'm willing to act on to get rid of? C, what am I afraid to lose if I go ahead and act? D, what would life be like if I did lose it? E, what decision must I make in order to become willing to give it up? F, am I willing to try some new things just to find out what happens? G, what would it be like if I tried something and it worked? Would I be scared or happy? And H, what would be so bad if I failed?